morning from Seattle, Washington. This is Michael Lai. It's Thursday, and every Thursday I wanted to take the time from my tight working schedule and share with you best idea about real estate investing in today's market, right? So as you know, at real estate real estate is the real estate create the most millionaire in the world, right? So if you look at the country like China, and country like Vietnam or the U.S., real estate is very major investment industry, right? So in a good market, like in the good market, you anticipate 30 to 44% of home residential purchase in the marketplace. It's an investor purchase, right? And so it's a very important that a very important industry. So how important real estate investment? If you look at the last market change, if you look at the last market change in 2008, lasted all the way into 2012. Real estate and real estate and real estate financing play a very major in the economic recovery of a country, right? So that's most of the middle class making access cash flow and income in investing in real estate, right? So I came to the USA in 1993. Back then in 1995. So I came here in 1993. So I've been in the US about 27 years. So my first home that I purchased when I came to America is it's located 2 blocks from my office where I'm at right now in Seattle, in the southeast Seattle, right? So the home that I purchased in the Junction Park, it is 1,500 square feet, right? And then it's a 3-story, it's a 2-story with a garage. It's a new construction, and I bought that home for $155,000. So that back in 1993, right? So how did being in America, American dream is all about purchase home, right? Owning your home. And then so there are 60, in a good market, depend to the time that we in, there are between 60 to 64% American that own property, that own home, right? So buying a home is very important for me. So I purchased my first home for 165K, right? So I went and talked to the builders and asked the builder that I remember the builder named Bill Hicker, and I told Bill that, Bill, why don't you sell me this property? And when I came to America, I worked my first job. I worked my first business is I used to be a gardener, right, doing landscaping work and going through all the rich neighborhood in Seattle and Belleville, doing the yard work, landscaping work, right? So I really have an opportunity, to talking to a lot of those, high net worth people that I do garden work for, right? So that, back in like that was like 27, 25 years ago, right? So so I talked to Bill Ecker. It happened to be one of the builders from Woodinville. I said, Bill, why don't you sell me this property here and let me kind of, go in and I'll do all the yard work. I do all the fence work, right? And as the result, you credit me $7,000 for do all this work instead of you go and hire a subcontractor to do it on your own, right? So so then Bill said, yeah, I can sell you this home for 155K, and then I'll credit you like $7,000 just, to do all the yard work, right? To do all the new lawn, new fence, new yards, So that's what I did back in the old day when I first came to America as a refugee. So the deal is made. So he credit me $7,000. Then I have to go and find another. I have to go and find another $8,000. Back then I have a gardening work, but I also went to school. So I work full time. I go to school full time. So I'd be able to save up to $8,000 together with $8,000 together with $7,000 from the builder. So I'd be able to put together my down payment to purchase my first home in the U.S. Right, and today that home, uh, today for those professionals that work with me, you already know the home is 155,000. Now it's about 1.1 million dollar, right? So that's how real estate is, right? And so I wanted to say to you, it's very important that you thinking about like where you are right now and where you wanted to be and why investing and owning property for yourself, in the U.S. is very important. Very important. That part of the American dream, right? And and I know that what is the reason for you to do it? Well, the when you don't have a plan for you to create a cash flow income, passive income that pay you when you retire, for any reason that you cannot work anymore, right? At least you have a source of income that you can rely on, right? On the other hand, that you depend on government support when you retire or you cannot work, it's very risky to do. As you know, and I know, Social Security, retirement, and the way that the government debt right now is at $23 trillion. And if you get to a point that you can have to retire depending on the government to pay you, it's not really a good position to be in. But God bless the system if they can have any money to pay you when you retire, right? So the option to invest into real estate is the must, right? So let me look at and share with you, some of the benefit, right, that I wrote down here on real estate. First, is the appreciation, right? The property in the last 10 years, let's pick a market like Seattle, Washington, or Puget Sound area. I own and operated Windermere Real Estate R&D, and then we help over 3,000 customers, right, in the area. So, and now I'm a developer and an investor, so we develop housing for people. But you look at every 10-year property is in double price. So if you look at the price, in the Seattle, Washington area for the last 10 years, back then, if you look at the track record from my firm, back then when we have 300 clients, the average home price 288. It's now like it's 760. That the home price, right? So home is the appreciation. So you can tap into the appreciation. You can have that 10%, 8%. I don't guarantee, but I look at the past performance of the last 10 years, right? And then the past performance of real estate appreciation the last 20 years. Like the home that I just shared with you. I bought it for $155. It's now the value of that like $1.1 million in today's market. So appreciation is the one, because I know, that your cost of living is going up, right? Your cost of living is going up. The cost of your salary, it probably, go up or go down, but in today's market, your income probably going to go down, of the challenging of the economic of our town. And so the appreciation of the real estate that you invest in is great, right? So how is the appreciation in the pandemic in today's market? Well, residential have, according to the August of 2019 compared to August of 2020, the price in the Seattle area has gone up by 4.6%, right? So and I know, even in the pandemic, when you have all the challenging with the other investment, invest into a stock market, invest into something that you don't control, right? and you then no leverage, that's something that different subject. But I'm talking about real estate investment. So the head again the inflation. And I know the you know I know the $100 back 10 years ago, it's probably going to be very different, and what you can buy and the value that carry $100 in today, right? So that inflation. So if you're going to have so how do you when you own in the property that at an investment that for rent, your tenant paid out the mortgage, right? And you get the yeah, and then you get the appreciation, right? So how do you combat again the inflation, right? That's I wanted to looking at. So the real estate go up in value, the dollar the dollar inflated, and then so one way to deal with that is to invest in real estate, only in real estate. And second would be like the tax benefit, right? When you look at the tax benefit and you look at when you own property, and I urge you to own a property. American dream is all about home ownership, right? But you look at, like, say, tax benefit, right? We looking like PITI, principal, interest, mortgage, and the insurance, right? PITI. And you look at it and say, interest payment, that tax deductible, right? And, and then insurance on the property that expand is tax deductible. Capital improvement on your asset, it is tax deductible, right? So even property tax at an expense is also tax deductible. So that's a great benefit that you have in owning real estate that compared to other real estate, other investment, right? It's no comparable. And third is that you have the cash flow, right? So over the last 20 years, I have thousand of investor, right? So if you're gonna buy a home and you pay principal, mortgage, interest, and insurance for X amount, and you rent it out for an X amount, and the spread in between that cash flow, so you receive a cash flow, whether it's gonna be $300 or $1,000 a month, depend, right? So you got the cash flow going, and and sometimes you own one door or you own 100 door, depend to your goal. You really can have more cash flow for yourself, passive income. And then the fourth one that I wrote down here is a principal paid down, right? Principal paid down. So if you look at the principal paid down, that you own a property, you have again, the head again the inflation, right? And then you got the tax benefit with it. You also receive a monthly gas flow, and then your tenant live in the property, pay down the principal, right? So that's a great investment to own, right? So I wrote down, I wrote down here that the so those are some of the things that I wanted to share with you about the investing in real estate. And I got, this week I wanted to, share with you, the best idea and strategy in owning property, right? So with that, I appreciate you taking the time to, look at this program today, and have a great one. And I'll see you next time.